Hello everyone, and thank you for attending today's webinar, 5 Techniques to Find Replacement Solar Panels and Parts in the Aftermarket. I'm Billy Lute, Assistant Editor with Solar Power World. Now before we get started, there are a few things you should know. This webinar will be sent to all registrants so you can view it again. Slides are available to view at any time via the resource widget at the bottom of your screen. Submit any questions related to today's webinar via the Q&A widget. We will try to answer these during the webcast. If we do not get to your question, our presenters may reach out to you after the broadcast. And finally, if you're watching this on demand, you can still use all of these features. So let's get started with today's webinar, 5 Techniques to Find Replacement Solar Panels and Parts in the Aftermarket. In the solar industry, more and more maintenance issues are cropping up as photovoltaic systems age. For contractors and O&M specialists alike, it's common practice to replace a damaged panel or repair a malfunctioning inverter. A customer might contact you to add legacy panels to their existing system, or you might assess the system and determine it's time for an upgrade. But is your company prepared to effectively handle the upkeep of PV systems? Do you know where to find replacement parts? What do you do with decommissioned equipment? To answer these questions, I am joined by Renee Kuhl and Rob Van Demeltraat from Energy Bin, who will share with us about how the solar aftermarket addresses.
Thanks, Billy.
These needs.
We really appreciate the opportunity to be a part of this really important discussion. And so real quick for everyone listening, as Billy mentioned, Rob and I are from energybin.com. Rob is our sales manager here, and I am the director of sales and marketing.
Hello, everybody.
Energy Bin, just to give you a quick bio on Energy Bin, is really your hub for all of your aftermarket needs. You can connect with our network of vetted members in the solar industry to buy, sell, and/or research solar equipment, and it's an online platform for any business who deals with solar equipment. As Billy mentioned earlier, you can ask your questions throughout the webinar here, and we'll certainly do our best to get through them at the end. So for now, let's just get started. In this webinar, you will learn what the solar aftermarket is and why you should care, 5 techniques to find legacy replacement parts today, and options for what to do with decommissioned equipment. Our goal today is to equip you with the knowledge to efficiently and effectively find replacement parts you need, consider your options for handling decommissioned products, and pursue the opportunity of solar equipment brokering as a new source of revenue for your company. So to get started here on this slide, what is the solar aftermarket and why should you care? At this point in your career, you've installed many new PV systems, which is obviously awesome, but have you realized that some of your future revenue will come from your current customers? Welcome to the solar aftermarket. We define the aftermarket as a market that comprises any service or project that takes place after installation through equipment end of life. A robust aftermarket is a key element to the industry's sustainable cycle. According to Harvard Business Review, in industries such as automobiles, white goods, industrial machinery, and information technology, companies have sold so many units over the years that their aftermarket has become 4 to 5 times larger than their original equipment businesses. Just going to say that one more time because it's important. The aftermarket has become 4 to 5 times larger than their original equipment businesses. The same business opportunity exists for PV solar equipment. Imagine an inclusive aftermarket where solar companies, equipment brokers, resellers and suppliers, recycling and refurbishment firms, insurance agencies, and third-party warranty companies come together to refurbish, resell, and recycle solar equipment and materials in an eternal loop that leaves minimal waste. And Rob, I think you had a bit to add on to the definition of an aftermarket as well.
I do, because I come from the aftermarket. What I focused on for 15 years is working in the IT aftermarket. And that aftermarket is flourishing. And Renee is absolutely right. It's 4 to 5 times larger than the original equipment business. And the one thing I wanted to say here too is renewable energy, and that's renewable equipment as well. I mean, there's some opportunities for everybody there. Now, first of all, I believe that the aftermarket, the opportunities to make money. At Energy Bin, we talk to hundreds of companies every week, and we often hear from the installers that they haven't had time to develop a plan for the maintenance side, or in other words, finding replacement parts when there's issues. And over time, in issues, and over time, most likely there will be. We also hear a lot from people about properly recycling end-of-life equipment. It's easy and common to get swept up with the demand for new installs, but without a strategy to find replacement parts and dealing with decommissioned equipment, this may disrupt your operations and cost you money. Now, anyone who has purchased a system from you should be your customer for life. Now, if they had a positive experience. Now, expect to be the first person they call when something goes wrong with their system. Be ready to respond, like Renee said, effectively and efficiently. Now, if you drop the ball, you may lose that customer for future business, and you also risk that customer giving negative reviews about yourself to other potential customers. Taking care of your customer creates that opportunity for future business and a pipeline for referrals. Happy customers may decide to upgrade or add on to existing systems or even build new systems down the road. But more importantly, happy customers will recommend your company to others. Convinced yet? From new business opportunities to retaining happy customers, devoting resources to aftermarket strengthens your bottom line for the long term. It's there and it's coming, and it's a great opportunity for you.
Okay, so where can you find replacement parts? If you feel a little puzzled, like this cute little guy on your screen, about where to locate replacement parts today, we can help with some insights we've gleaned from over 17 years working with equipment traders in the aftermarket arena. Our experience spans from the IT industry, where we connect over 13,000 brokers from 70 countries on our trading platform, BrokerBin. 4 years ago, we collaborated with the U.S. Department of Energy to launch EnergyBin to bring together qualified industry professionals to trade new and used solar equipment on a safe trading platform. We'll share more about the unique qualities of brokers later in the presentation, but for now, let's get into 5 techniques we recommend for finding replacement parts today. And real quick, we just want to ask an audience question. Have you struggled with finding legacy replacement parts in the last year? If you guys just want to go ahead and check yes or no on your screen. We can take a look at some of the results here. Hopefully everybody is able to answer that question. Let's see. Wow, look at those results. So the vast majority of you have definitely struggled with finding legacy replacement parts in the last year, which is awesome, because now we're going to help you learn how to find them. So take it away, Rob.
Okay, starting with the first technique to find your replacement parts. Number one is we always check with the manufacturer and your primary distributor. Several manufacturers offer aftermarket services to their customers. Depending on turnaround time, the service could prove to be your best route. Excuse me. In addition, some manufacturers and distributors keep older models in stock for the purpose of offering replacement parts to their customer. In fact, I want to share a story. Recently, one of our Energy members, a developer, was looking for a pallet of Yingling modules for a replacement project on a really large-scale system. Due to the project parameters, he was unable to use a substitute module. So one of my reps helped him reach out to the members and successfully located 70 exact matches in New Jersey, and they're probably perhaps the last of the particular model in Yingling stock, because he looked hard and far, but he found them. Because this older stock does nothing for suppliers, profits sitting in warehouse. They're looking for ways to sell the inventory through auctions, clearance sales, other channels. Although the developer in our story lucked out, these Yingling panels, be cautious of relying on your manufacturer distributor for the aging models. If you use a specific model and are informed that it's discontinued, you may want to buy a bulk, do a bulk buy to have some on hand for your O&M needs, your operation and maintenance needs. Perhaps you often even offer Perhaps they'll even offer you a bulk discount if you buy them all. Now, what happens if the manufacturer goes out of business, like Solar World? Obviously, you can't pick up the phone and call them. What do you do when your primary distributor doesn't have the part you need? The next step, or the technique to find the replacement part, is call your industry colleagues. I apologize. Relationships you develop. It's no secret that the solar industry is built on relationships. Chat with any industry professional, and they'll tend to help you out and give you some good advice. So pick up the phone and make some calls. Ask your industry relationships if they have the parts you're looking for, and if they know someone who can help. Check with all your colleagues, not just suppliers. One of the stories I can share is from a member, a residential installer. He contacted another installer who's also a member to inquire about buying a few panels. He found out that the second installer had leftover parts from a recent project, and the two completed a deal, one obtaining the equipment he needed and the other recouping cash, on that unused equipment. Now, the downside of this technique is carving out the time to make the calls. Everyone's super busy. Even if you tell yourself you're going to spend the afternoon calling your colleagues, there's no guarantee they'll answer the phone. Now, you can send emails, and that could fill some of the gap. But emails also go unanswered, in today's fast-paced industry. People get so many of them. Now, texting may be worth it if you have your colleague's cell phone number. But, however, we just want you to be careful because texting a colleague, if you haven't received their permission to do so, may be unwelcoming, and it could dampen your relationship. Now, the next technique, what we do if you can't find it through those first two, is we use our social media network, to locate those replacement parts. Leverage your social media network. LinkedIn, Facebook, WhatsApp, most social media platforms allow you to send a personal message to anyone in your network. Now, LinkedIn is thought to be the most professional of the network in the social media world. Here at EnergyBin, me and my team use LinkedIn on a daily basis to connect with prospects and customers. It's really useful for sending a quick message to a colleague to ask for advice or pose a question. Now, keep your personal messages short, and of course, use, as Renee would make me say, use proper grammar and spelling. On LinkedIn, you can also view your contacts' connections. Now, if you want to contact someone you're not connected with, but your colleague is, just ask him or ask her to introduce you, and most of the time they'll do so in a prompt manner. Now, you also may want to try posting a message to a group newsfeed like Solar Power World or Solar Energy Network. You need to use hashtags to ensure your post is seen by industry professionals. For instance, if you're looking for Solar World panels, make sure you're using the hashtag Solar World and hashtag PV Solar. Now, one of the things we came across on an EnergyBin member is we came across a residential installer. Actually, he was on LinkedIn, who published a post inquiring about a specific part model he was looking for. Now, one of our reps caught it. He contacted him. He shared with him how EnergyBin could help him locate the part. He actually joined the community and as a member and connected to another member who shipped the part to him the next day. We wouldn't have known about that if it weren't for LinkedIn. Now, social media works best when you have the time to manage your accounts and comb through the news feeds. It can be a rabbit hole, as we call it. So on our end, we try to kind of pace ourselves in how much we go in there. The process of hunting down replacement parts via social media can be demanding, and of course, your response rate depends really whether under contact, whether your contact is messaging you, whether your contact is logged in, basically what I'm saying. So that does work effectively. Now, the next step, if you can't find it through those first three, is really, they call it conduct a smart search, on the internet. I call it Google it, In fact, my kids Google everything. So before we dig into the technique, the one thing I want to make sure we say is smart, and a smart search, because the internet is a wealth of information, but if you don't do a smart search, you're going to be drowned in all the results that might not even be relevant to what you're looking for. Start by locating the proper part description and model number for the replacement part you're searching for. If you're unsure, not sure where to find it, you can go to Solar Power World. Has some useful resources for everybody. They have a panel model database, and they also have an inverter model database. So you can locate your You can load information there. You can also go straight to the manufacturers and possibly pull a data sheet off their website. Now, with the right model, a description in hand, you need to go to the search engine. You need to go to Google. You paste it up there, but your results will display everything published online for that model, which can include thousands of pages. Now, we recently tried to search for an older LG 315 watt panel. Now, Google produced over 3,000 results for that part number. Now, the interesting thing, the first result was the data sheet from LG's website, which is understandable. The second result was a retail e-commerce site, which didn't really help if you're in the wholesale industry, looking for wholesale deals. The third site we came across was actually someone selling it at a 52% below manufacturer suggested retail, but of course they were sold out. Now the fourth result was a product review. Now, instead of that kind of frustration, a smart internet search for the LG 315 panel would produce results available produced at wholesale prices. And because the internet also harbors plenty of dishonest entrepreneurs, we added an internet search to our secure trading platform, EnergyBin.com. Now, using a B2B exchange like EnergyBin saves you time, gives you peace of mind. You deal with the vetted members. And on such exchanges, you're going to see inventory from thousands of members, inventory listings that are specific to the solar industry, and they're all traded at wholesale prices. Now, we searched for that same LG panel on EnergyBin, and we got results from two sellers who had over 800 of these panels. Now, the sellers that were listing it were anywhere from 63 to 70% below MSRP, which obviously beat the guy who had zero of them at 52% below MSRP. Now, what if you join the exchange only to find a member or only to find no member has that part you need? On EnergyBin, what we do is we send a message to other members out there so they can announce it and help locate that part for them. We actually call that broadcast or broadcasting. Joining a secure B2B exchange is really a strategic way to ensure you have a go-to place to find replacement parts on a regular basis. Plus, you can leverage your membership to establish presence in the solar aftermarket. We'll share more. In fact, we'll share more about that in a bit. Now, the next step for this process is what we suggest, as we alluded to earlier, is partner with the solar equipment broker. It's possible to strike out finding replacement parts by using the 4 techniques discussed, which brings up the 5th and final technique. Partner with a solar equipment broker. The profession is fairly new to the solar industry. Brokers are also known as traders, are active on other commodity industries, like we talked about earlier, where they trade new and used products day in and day out. And actually, probably the most common example is at the real estate industry. That's where the brokers represent buyers and sellers of homes. Now, the solar equipment brokers, I can tell you, they keep tabs on the best deals. They're truly masters of the supply chain process. They have global access to products and tend to excel in transportations and logistics. So in a nutshell, brokers can help you find what you need without taking up your valuable time. Partner with a broker, let them do the hard work of finding replacement parts for you. Connect with brokers through the B2B communities like EnergyBin. In fact, one of our members, he's a commercial contractor, needed some specialty racking for a project. They called their manufacturer and distributor, reached out to all their contacts, and searched on EnergyBin, but they couldn't find that racking they needed. So they decided to partner with a broker, with an EnergyBin member broker. Now, he scoured the global network to find the equipment and actually found it and was delivered within 2 weeks at the project site. So that's a really cool success story for him. And maybe you also want to try your hand at equipment trade yourself. You don't need to be an expert broker to take advantage of the opportunity. Leverage the membership to a B2B exchange to sell your leftover excess equipment from projects. Maybe you want to request multiple quotes on pricing options for your current customers. Offer to resell equipment piled up in your colleagues' background, or even partner with a broker so you can offer your added value design and installation services. Now, you might even be surprised and discover a passion for brokering, like one of our members did. He was a residential installer. He worked with his father's installation company for years, but he also noticed all the leftover parts from jobs. So he decided to list them on Craigslist, eBay, and other sites for resale. And soon after, he found out that he really kind of liked it. In fact, he was making good money doing it. And now he's a full-time broker. He incorporated his business. He joined EnergyBin to connect with other brokers and solar communities to buy, sell all this excess and legacy equipment. So now, the next slide, what do I do with the decommissioned stuff? So far, we've covered the importance of solar aftermarket, the 5 techniques in finding replacement parts. When you successfully replace a damaged part or upgrade an aging system, you're all done with the job, right? Wrong. You still need to take proper care of that decommissioned equipment.
Okay, so everyone, before we move on, we're going to ask you another poll question. Do you have used equipment that you don't know what to do with? Again, just a simple yes or no answer here. If you can take a second and answer that question, that'll be the next piece that we go over in the webinar, is what to do with that decommissioned equipment. Let's see where we're at here. I know a lot of you. Okay, so it's pretty well split, but there's a good chunk of you who are looking for options for used equipment that you don't know what to do with, which is awesome because that's the next section of our webinar here. So you may think that the decommissioned equipment is the sole responsibility of the system owner. This mindset could actually be bad for your business. So here in the Midwest, in the winter, we rely on our furnaces quite a bit. And so this example of like what company for us, what company would sell us a furnace to us and then come to install it but leave the old one behind. That just doesn't happen, right? We're looking for a company that can take care of the full job for us. So packing out decommissioned equipment could be economically beneficial for your business. You leave your customer happy. You also play your part in completing the industry's sustainable cycle by reselling or recycling the equipment. Your economic opportunity here lies in resale. Again, your economic opportunity lies in resale. Because panels have a lifespan of 40 to 50 years, there's a good chance the decommissioned panels have not yet met their end of life. Pending no major damage, panels can be resold. Buyers throughout the world are in the market for used panels priced between 5 and 15 cents a watt.
Can I add something here, Renee?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
There's a huge opportunity for resale. And I'm just thinking of that new law in California, Rule 21, that requires everyone to use all those smart inverters. So what happened with all those other inverters that were sitting in warehouses, in your warehouses? They can't be installed in California. There's a secondary market for those. I'm here to tell you because I'm helping people do that and moving them to the proper context.
Right. Yep. Absolutely. You can resell your panels and other equipment by taking on the qualities of a broker we discussed earlier. Online trading communities like EnergyBin make it easy for you to resell equipment. Follow the best practices of reputable resellers to start selling your used equipment today. If you need help, contact Rob or any one of us here at EnergyBin, and we will happily help you. So the other option for equipment that is truly at end of life is to recycle, and it's obviously important to recycle. By doing so, materials can be extracted for new components, and the chemicals stay out of landfills. In the United States, many states are considering or have already passed legislation that mandates PV recycling. Plan ahead for your business by familiarizing yourself with SEIA's National PV Recycling Program. SEIA offers a free checklist to prepare for recycling PV equipment, and you can also contact SEIA with any questions about recycling or for help finding a recycling partner near you. Rob, did you have something to add here also?
Yeah, I think, a couple things when I think about decommissioning projects. Obviously, it's either going to go to you're going to recycle it or potentially resell it. Recycling costs money. Reselling it will make you some money. But if you don't have the skills to determine if it's still good, let's go back to hiring a broker, because there's people and members on these B2B platforms like EnergyBin who will help you with the decommission, who will help you with the recycling, who will help you with that. So it's all using a platform like that in a trusted, vetted network. It's it's the only way to do it, in my opinion.
Okay, so in this webinar, you've learned what the solar aftermarket is, where to find replacement parts, and your options for taking care of decommissioned equipment, either resell or recycle. And perhaps you've even discovered some light bulb ideas to create new business opportunities for your company in the aftermarket, like solar equipment brokering. Remember, when you are prepared to meet your customers' needs at all stages of their PV systems, you get happy customers. So we're going to ask you guys to take one more poll before we move into questions. And that really is just to get a feel for whether or not you would like to talk one-on-one about how EnergyBin can help you with your aftermarket needs. So there's a couple of options there for you to select. I just want to take a second and let us know.
Yes, I'm a prospect and like a demo. Yes, I'm a customer and want to see what's new. Yes, I'd like to speak with you personally. And no, I'm good for now. And we understand.
So thank you for joining us on this webinar today. If you're ready to see how EnergyBin can help your company, visit our website to request a demo, or feel free to reach out to us directly. Please be confident to connect with myself or Rob. Our contact information is there on the screen. Email, phone. You can follow us on social media. We certainly hope you subscribe to our newsletter. So thank you so much. We'll get into questions.
All right, so now we're going to open up the floor for some questions. Remember, you can continue to submit questions at any time in the Q&A widget on your screen. First question on deck. How can I learn more about solar equipment brokering?
Go ahead, Rob.
Okay. Well, the easiest way is you can do some smart searching on the internet about it. We recommend contact a B2B or contact here us at EnergyBin, and we can even introduce you to other brokers who can teach you directly, and you don't have to just listen to us talk about it, because there's some really good ones out there, and they're worth knowing.
All right, next question. How does a broker differ from a supplier, and where can I connect to brokers?
Ooh, that's a really good question. A supplier or a traditional supplier normally sells from the primary market, the new equipment for new builds, where brokers both sell in the traditional markets, the primary market, but they also sell into the secondary market, both new and used equipment, because there's a large secondary market out there. And what was it about the second question?
Oh, and where can I connect?
Oh, where can I connect to brokers? Well, you can connect on energybin.com. I'm not sure about the other B2B platforms. I also want people to be careful when you talk about non-vetted sites. eBay, I have a lot of experience working there, and, we just don't know who we're working with all the time. So, but I would recommend contact me. You can do that EnergyBin, Rob at energybin.com, or you can also link it, go through my LinkedIn, and we can have a discussion.
All right, great. Next question. What can I do if I've tried to find a specific legacy part but was unsuccessful locating them?
Renee, you want me to do this one?
Sure, yeah. So obviously you can kind of go through the steps that we talked about here in the webinar, do the smart searches that we referenced, reached out via some social media sites, those kinds of things that we went through. The other thing that you can certainly do if you are looking for something specific is reach out to Rob or I directly, of course, and we will tap our network for you. I think Rob mentioned this, or we alluded to this earlier, is that we have what's called within our network the broadcast system, and that really allows for us to send out what we would call like a want to buy out to our network to say, hey, we're looking for these panels, these inverters, something that's specific, and always the legacy parts. Yeah, those are definitely hard to find. So we would just utilize our network for you if you've gone through these steps that we talked about throughout this presentation.
Yeah, with the broadcasting, that's the most effective way, because each one of us, from a business development or account management perspective, gets those as well, and we sit in the middle. So we talk to hundreds of people a week, So we get to understand business models, and we can help accelerate the defining process, defining that process.
Yeah.
All right. So when you describe a secure B2B exchange, what precautions are in place to guarantee members are vetted and can be trusted?
You, Renee?
Sure. Yeah. So we do several things before we bring somebody on into the network. And the first is, again, we are a B2B platform, and so we want to verify that the company is a company, in fact, and is working within the solar industry. And so we do that in several different ways, whether it's looking at tax ID, looking at website, taking business references. So yeah, we do our best to vet these companies for you so that when you're using the network, you know that you're working with companies or that you're locating companies. Because we should mention also there's a geographical search as well, so that if you're looking for somebody nearby, you can use our geographical search and know that we've already done the due diligence of making sure that that's a company in business in solar equipment.
May I add this, Renee?
Yeah, go ahead.
When it comes to vetting, there's a process when it comes to vetting. And for us, it starts, obviously we have to verify their location, that they're in the solar industry. We require them to provide references, and we're required to check on those references to make sure that they are the business. Because, again, back to being careful, if we don't do our diligence on the front end, that risks potential problems in the back end. Now, the one thing I want to point out, this is a marketplace. EnergyBin is a marketplace, and that marketplace is where you buy, sell, and trade equipment. But that's why you make sure it's vetted, and then all the transactions happen directly between you and them.
Right. Yeah.
Not with me. I don't get any transactional fee.
All right. Are PV modules evaluated for their remaining useful life?
Are
the PV modules evaluated for remaining useful life?
Well, they would need to be. They would need to be tested. If you don't have the ability to test yourself, we can connect you with organizations who can, or a testing facility, preferably in your area, that you can get them tested at. We have access to a few of them, and through our network.
Okay. What are some tips you would recommend to a solar contractor interested in pursuing solar equipment brokering as an additional revenue stream?
Oh, that's actually an excellent question. What are the 2 tips to recommend to solar contractors interested in pursuing calling? Renee, you want me to jump on that?
Yeah, you can go.
Okay. There's a few things. It depends if you're looking to buy or sell. But I'm just trying to word this rightly. What are the solar contractors interested in pursuing solar equipment? Well, first of all, get a list of the equipment that you have or you have access to, because without that list of equipment, it's hard for us to help you. But there's the additional revenue streams when you come from a brokering. It's not just on an initial sale. It's going to come from the operations maintenance. For the legacy equipment, it's going to be selling your excess or your contractor's excess, or possibly buying that excess or decommissioning projects, and we'll connect you to how to resell it. I don't know if that's a great answer or not, Renee.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. I think the first thing to do that, in terms of 2 to 3 tips, besides, again, going through what we went through earlier in the webinar about brokering, is to get a list of the excess stock that you might have available, and be able to resell that for a contractor. If you can pick up excess stock, if you can be that person that your customer follows up with after the fact, in terms of repair, those are all options that you can have, and all ways that you can use a network like EnergyBin to kind of, instead of just go one way with the customer, go back and forth, meaning buy and sell, replace and repair as well.
Okay. How small a request will you entertain? Single modules, microinverters, etc.
Yes, I think in traditional, a traditional distributor, and this is no offense to them, they're looking to sell for that entire project. But on Energy Ben, we have a lot of operation and maintenance that they can look for just one panel, or they can look for one inverter, or they can look for a pallet load or a container load. I think it's all being moved, at least, from what I'm seeing and witnessing and dealing with. Yeah, you can move single modules, single microinverters, or a whole string of them.
Right. Yeah, there is really no minimum for us at all. And that's really kind of the point of the secondary market or the afterlife, is because that's really what people are looking for. Single modules or single microinverters, and that's what we want to be the answer for.
Okay. Next question. What if my primary vendor can get me the replacement parts, but I need the turnaround? Sorry. What if my primary vendor can get me the replacement parts I need, but the turnaround time will greatly delay my project timeline?
That happens often, I think, in this business, and that's why it's becoming prevalent to use these after these 5 techniques we talked about, or including a B2B site like Energy Ben to help you meet that timeline, because obviously most installers aren't paid until the project's done, at least from my understanding, and then it's important to meet that timeline.
Exactly. So there's obviously options. There's location options to source location, something closer to you. If shipping might be the delay, depending on what the delay is, there's different ways to.
That's a very good point, Renee, because she had alluded to earlier about our directory where people are telling us where that product is located or where it needs to go to. And so you can, look at closer suppliers who potentially have it,
Exactly.
Okay. What we got here? I am trying to source modules which are no longer manufactured and have listed a WTB on Energy Ben. Does your network broadcast all available equipment on Energy Ben?
Trying to source modules which no longer manufactured and have listed at one of them. Do network broadcast all available equipment on Energy Ben? Energy Ben has a smart search. So if you search for that manufacturer in this model, it will come up either in the normal listings or what's been broadcasted for the last 30 days. So I'm not sure I understand the question. Does your network broadcast all available equipment on Energy Ben? That would be up to the user to broadcast and put his needs out there. I think
this particular person has listed. So I think we might want to follow up with this particular question specifically. It sounds like this person did send a want to buy on Energy Ben. And are you wondering if that network broadcast was available or was sent out? Should have been. We can resend it. We can certainly reach out.
Yeah, I can see the name here. I'll write it down to make sure we reach out directly. Maybe you can answer the question more directly.
All right. I'm a homeowner with 10K panels. Several inverters have been compromised, and I'm looking for sources. The company's out of business.
That's definitely contact us. We can help to try to get connected. Now, a homeowner, but we can still help connect you to a good partner.
All right. So how does a membership to a B2B exchange differ from an association membership?
Oh, I think I may have mentioned something earlier that may answer some of this question. A B2B exchange is a marketplace that's exchanging equipment. So it's panels, it's inverters, it's batteries, it's racking gear that we're connecting you to buy, sell, and trade. Whereas association, what's a good description for association? Is not as much as a marketplace as information, enrichment, acknowledgement. education.
Okay. What if I need help sorting through my old inventory and preparing it for resale?
What if I need help sorting through my old inventory?
Call us.
Yeah. What I need you to do is get descriptions of the product. It'd be great if you had the original part number with the manufacturer. You know, in the solar industry, it's all about wattage and voltage. You know, so we didn't know. You know, and of course, you know, is it black on black? You know, what's the frame? If we're speaking about a panel in particular, but as much description as you can get will be helpful. If you can put it in a spreadsheet, it would be more helpful, and then we can help you show you how to resell that via Energy Bin.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. I do work promoting PV in the Dallas, Texas area with a chapter of ACES. Do you have any comments on how you can help individual customers?
And how you can help individual customers. I think, of course, I believe we can help. I mean, it sounds like he's looking to be connected. I would need to understand a little bit more of what the need of the individual customer is or what his pain is. Would determine what answer I would give you, if it's a person, or how to use the platform effectively to discover those, you know, discover that help. Is that a fair way to answer, Renee?
Yeah, I think you're just looking to promote solar in the Dallas, Texas area with chapter of any kind and how you can help the individual customers. Yeah, I would say we'd love to learn a little bit more about what you're doing and how we can help be supportive. Because we clearly want to be. We want to be participating in all communities and be supportive of solar. And so, yeah, we'd love to learn more.
I can tell you, let me add this. Through our directory, we have an online solar directory. We have over 500 solar organizations in Texas alone.
Right.
So I think we can help you.
Yeah.
Great. Okay. What sort of contracts are required for transactions? Are there examples?
I think that's an easy question because we are a subscription-based organization, and so all the transactions happen between you and the other organization directly. So we don't have it's not an Amazon or an eBay where you buy online. This is about developing the relationships. We alluded in part of the earlier, this is a business of relationships, and what we're doing is helping you expand those relationships. So now the new person, the person you find who has the gear you're looking for, or who's going to buy the gear you have, you guys are going to contract among each other.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Should individual customers needing help request a free demo or call someone in particular?
Yeah, well, I think you can go to energybin.com, and there's an opportunity for you there to request a free demo. They'll ask you for your name, your email address, your company name, things like that, and then we'll follow up. Or you can also call in into the main line as a contact information, and my mind's blank right now what it is.
You can call Rob directly. I'm wondering if you're asking about individual customers on Energy Bin. So if you are an Energy Bin customer needing help, call directly. So you want to give us a call directly, and you can call Rob.
Sure.
All right. I think that's all the questions we have time for today. If you have additional unanswered questions, feel free to contact our presenters on your own. This webinar will be shared with all registrants, so you can view it again at your convenience. I would like to thank Renee and Rob for being here, and Energy Bin for sponsoring today's webinar. And thank you to everyone in our audience for participating. I hope you enjoyed our presentation, and we invite you to join us for more Solar Power World webinars in the future. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.